Hey you, I'm the Queen of Shade. Welcome to the interview. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit my Cash App to support your favorite content creator. Now let's get to the interview. Mwah.
Let me tell you something. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. Said you're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. Said you're a bougie bitch and your mama is too.
Salutations, Stufos. This is your fabulous leader, the Queen of Shade, coming to you with another special presentation, moving full speed ahead, getting to know some amazing people, some very gifted people, some very talented people all over the world. This has been quite an experience, and it's still going because the world is full of amazing people. And they have amazing stories, and there are so many people, so we're never going to run out of meeting fantastic, brilliant geniuses. And I say that today with emphasis because the person that I am getting ready to introduce you to is a genius. I have been following this person on social media for years, and I have seen nothing. I'm trying not to cry because I have seen nothing but utter brilliance. I've seen this person stand in their truth. I've seen this person write content for content and just be so amazing at doing it. So let me introduce them. This person is a director, a producer, and an actor, but let's not forget writer as well. God. Okay, this person, to his credit, he has created some very iconic series. The first one, Queen of the Ratchet. We all know that. Second one, Boys to Gay. Then after that, the Opposing Views series. And then there's more. Guncle, the Guncle series. I love that one. And then there's Oddly Odin. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me give a warm welcome to Mr. Joshua Gilyard. I knew you were going to wear that wig today.
You know it's going to be blue?
I don't listen. I'm a shaman. I see things. I saw this happening, and I knew. I told my grandmother this morning as we were like running to the store. I'm like, he's gonna wear that blue wig. I'm so glad you did because it's just.
I just wanted to look good for you. You know, I wanted to smirk and look good for you, and I was like, I just got this color, and I was like, no, we got to put this girl on for her. Yeah, we have to put this girl on.
I'm so glad you did because I want people to understand you have so many facets to you. People that really follow you, we know, like you have so many. It's like a really beautiful birthday cake. There are layers. You know, some birthday cakes, they're like Neapolitan. You get into it and there's the vanilla. Then there's the chocolate. Then there's the strawberry. But you have sprinkles and caramel. And just, then there's that layer of sorbet. Like there's just so much to. I couldn't wait. Let me tell you something. My grandmother was so excited about me doing this interview because we watch you. And I'm not saying like, oh, because she's like an old lady. No, she follows you so much. Like you're one of the people that she goes to for very great content. Because what I love about your content is that you give us very standardized content. That's one way of doing it. You do it that way. And then you give us content that is so like, it's the other way. It's like the balance of both. And like the last thing I remember, because I watched, like I'm crazy about it. So the last thing I remember before today going over it, you were sitting somewhere and you were like sitting in a chair and it was like a restaurant or something. And there's this guy standing on the corner with a sign talking about how gays are going to hell and, this, that, and the other. And I love that you turned on your camera and you were like, sir. And he stopped. He stopped. And you're like, sir, you need to move on because that's not God. Like what you're doing is not God, And you're like, God is like, you people, I love it. Then I saw you, and I think it was Alien Superstar. Let me just make sure. You're dancing in the street. Yes, it was Alien Superstar, and you're in the street is painted with the gay flag. Like, Joshua, I love you. Okay. I love you so much. So much.
The feeling is mutual. I love how positive you are, how much you've supported me over the years, how you've commented, not only on my videos, what I can say as another person, Black in the LGBTQ community, you're always supportive, you're always positive, you're always pushing a positive message. And sometimes you do it with a little shade, baby. And that's something that I love because it's real, it's honest, and it's needed in this really messed up rock that we're living on. And you just create such a positive and honest and grounded space for older, our age, and younger. And that's what we're going to need in this next phase of whatever's happening with all the energy moving forward. Is you're such a leader, you're such a positive light in this world, and just to see you shining and the growth and like how you're just flourishing with the interviews, and you just you don't stick to just interviewing one type of individual. And I love how you stated like, hey, everyone is beautiful, there's so many people, there's so many geniuses in the world. And that's the same message that I try to get out there, is that we're living in this world where people are afraid to just be themselves, just be, because of there might be something going on. There might be like something stopping them, a trauma, or like a person in their life that say, oh, you can't do that. You can't wear this blue wig. You can't have red lips or anything. But then it's like, F it, I can. And I'm going to.
You can cuss here.
Oh, great. I was trying to be respectful.
Cuss here. Don't let this Diane Sawyer fool you. Don't let this Diane Sawyer fool you.
I ain't want you to get me later and be like, bitch, you cuss on my goddamn platform. Now I do that on this, but bitch, I'm trying to get the ABC check.
No, let me tell you something. I don't want the ABC check. And you know what I love? Like, because I remember there were talks about your stuff going on Adult Swim, because it was just, your stuff is just so good. And you know what it is too? People need to understand, even with profanity, the profanity is placed, the profanity is needed for emphasis.
Thank you. Thank you. And it gets such a, that whole positive, negative thing, it gets such a whatever we call bad vibe to cuss. And it's like, it's a release. For me, the reason why I cuss in my content, or like why I cuss on the daily, is because it's releasing the toxins. You can do it with meditation. You can do it with yoga. And you can also do it with your throat chakra. Sometimes you got to get that shit out of your system, because if you don't, it just gets constipated, and you end up being like constipated and like angry. There's a lot of constipated people in this world.
Yes.
Lots of them. And it's like, if y'all just release, bust a nut, fall in love, smile. I'm like, what's wrong? Like, it's gas. It's so much gas. And if you can't get it out the anus, the ass, and get it out your mouth, baby, because it just got to come out. Just say, fuck it.
That's the Joshua Gilyard I was looking for.
You know, it's just like, I mean, I don't get it. And sometimes like, and I know you've been there too, where like, I've been in environments, and I try to be respectful, because my mom is like very hardcore Southern Baptist. Yeah. So like, when I get around certain people, I'll stop like the cussing. But even then, when I'm around my people, I still cuss. And they'll be like, Josh, you know, not supposed to do. I'm like, I can't help it. That's who I am. Yeah. I've got to be fucking me all the time. I just can't be like, oh, I'm gonna take this wig off and be Joshua, who you think I am. That's who you think I am. I have to be me. Please my soul. This is my life, bitch, and that's your life. Like, we only got one time to do this.
Just one.
But honestly, you know what I think? I think that we keep coming back. Me and you have met before, right? Yeah. But there's one bitch, there's one individual that keep fucking this shit up. And I need y'all to get it together. I need y'all to go live your best life. Right? Because we ain't trying to do this shit anymore. We're trying to be in the 11th dimension. Enlightenment. Can we get to enlightenment, please?
No, but you know what's so funny? Everything you're saying is everything you say in your content, and it resonates with the entire world, Joshua. Like your work, like, oh my God. Like as I was reading, I was familiar with the Gunkel series. I was familiar with Oddly Odin. I'm definitely familiar with Queen of the Ratchet, and I'm also familiar with you creating your own characters and what they will be called. And like it's just you have something for everyone. No one can, you can't go and like it will, you'll never go into a meeting and a person say, oh well, we love what you do, but we need this. You're coming with your bag. You're like, oh well, you need this. Well, I got that. And it forces them to tell you the truth, because it's like, well, they say, oh well, we're looking for more of it. You like, well, I got that too. And then they run out of reasons, and then the reasons become, well, we've never really had a mainstream gay artist doing this that, like you start to hear that, or you hear, but you have to appeal to certain people, basically they're racist, so like you get to the real meat of the matter, because you, like me, like I'm the same thing, we do the same thing. I provide content for everybody.
Yes, because your music is amazing, and you excel.
My music?
Yes, I've been following you. I know that you study opera and all that, baby. I know you like that. I've been so rough. But you know what made me start doing that is because there were a couple of spaces that I went into where there was one specific space where I would get up and I would be myself. And there was one student that was like, you're really great at that thing, basically saying the gay thing, but can you do something else? And I said, okay, bet. I mean, if that's what you want me to do, that's what you want me to do. And I think they think that we can only just play one thing. We can only just show up one way. We can only just be one thing or boxed in. And it's like, no, we're here too. I just had a conversation with someone today about how the LGBTQ community is kind of leading the forefront in a lot of entertainment. When you think about like RuPaul's Drag Races, when you think about what's happening with the music industry, when you think about what's happening with the movie industry. But what I told them is I said, we've always been there. We just used to be in the back making everybody else look good. But now we're like, no, bitch, actually, we're gonna get the check too. You can come collaborate with us, no shade, but you're gonna come over here now. Yeah. We don't need your check anymore, Hollywood. We don't need your check anymore, white man. Spaces open up. So if you want to work with us, write the check.
Yes. And you're speaking to not only me, but this is resonating with everyone, because that was me. I was a model. I was modeling in Paris. I turned around and I got Musically. I was going out, my A&R, worked for Sony. Like there were things happening. American Idol. I did American Idol. Like there were so many different things. And each time it wasn't even, yes, it was. I just got to say it. Yes, it was. They wanted to give me a narrative, but my life was already narrated. There was already a story there. You know how to say, oh, well, we love to root for the underdog. Well, baby, I got the whole underdog on lock. Like I got all of that. And I've got the, rising from the ashes and the incomparable spirit that never gives. I got all of that. I don't need you to give me some storyline. And I walked away from a lot. And they like to do that to us artists. Oh, you'll never be nothing. You're making the worst mistake of your life. And, it's going to take you forever. This was a vehicle that could have got you there faster. And what I realized, because I'm a late bloomer, I'll be 40 in September. And it's just like, I don't need to get there faster. I just need to get there. And how I get there is up to me. And the vehicle that I get there in is up to me. Like you said, I'm tired of getting in the vehicles with people that can't stand my guts, that don't like me because I'm gay, that don't like me because I cross-dress, that don't like me because I'm Black, don't like, get this, when you said profanity, someone really, really famous, it was like a scientist or something, said the smartest people in the world curse the most, because he said the same thing you did. It's such a release of
Yeah.
constant energy. Because what people don't understand, and you do, because you do a lot of meditation, every day we go out into this world, it's not just the people that we encounter. I'm going Pocahontas here. Every rock, every tree, every creature has energy.
Yes.
You know, and we are conductors of that energy. That energy is flowing through us every single day. When people say, oh, well, we're not connected to this planet, yes, the fuck we are. And in every facet, in every way. So if you're taking in all that energy just from walking down the street, you need some way, somewhere to expel that. And that's where, and people, and this is the craziest thing, because the entertainment industry swears they have the corner of the market on that, because they understand that. They understand, oh yeah, well, you're going to need to, have a place where you can let your hair down. You're going to need, but they want their place to be the only place. And that's the problem. They want it to look the way that they want it to do. They want it to sound the way that they want it to sound. They want it to, just be what they want it to be. And I said today, because, our queen released an amazing album, Beyonce. She released an amazing album. And one of my favorite tracks on there is one that features T.S. Madison. And it's called Cozy. Now, I live for T.S. Madison. She paved the way. I wouldn't even be here. Like I said, I did a video before this for TikTok, and I'm like, I'm playing around on Beyonce and T.S. Madison's internet right now. But it's the point of the matter is, there's so much in this world that is good. And just because it may not look a certain way, sound a certain way, dress a certain way. I'm very careful with my choices of clothing. I do the business suit, and then I do the standardly class. Like, I need you to see every facet of my personality. I need you to understand, oh, this bitch is the wife, but she's the whore and the mistress too. She can get but because even in our world, you have men that they have their wives, but then they have their whores and their mistresses on the side. I'm like, oh no, baby, you're not leaving nowhere. This is my house to stay. You gonna stay right here. You gonna get that Gawk 3000 right here. You are not going down the street to you're not, like, I'm giving you everything.
Not Gawk 3000. Baby, he definitely not going nowhere with a Gawk 3000. He's staying right there.
But no, because I couldn't wait to talk to you, because I knew I was gonna be able to open up. Like, I knew I was gonna be able to open up. Like, I'm not worried. Listen, I don't need primetime money. I'm one of those people that said to myself, I never have to leave the gay community to do what I'm doing. There's enough money, enough support, enough power in the gay community. I can stay right in here and don't have to go out there and be like, I remember when I was trying to get my music done, heterosexual producers did not see it for me. They didn't see it. They didn't understand it. They didn't get it. They weren't. I'm one of those people where when I write music, I hear the music in my head. So I sing out of my mouth exactly how the song goes. And then an engineer and a producer can fill in the instruments as we go. So I really get production credit as well, because I hear the shit. So, and it's been that way with every song. So I remember, like, heterosexual.
Jackson.
What you say?
That's like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson used to do the same thing.
But you saying it. It's another black. It's a black thing. It's a black thing. We play by ear. We play by feeling. We play by, that's how we play. We may not have gone to conservatories or, all this other things that make you respectable. Like, what is that? Because our music slaps. All of it. All of it. I heard you. Okay. This is so unconventional, because I'm just talking to you. Like, I forgot that there's people even gonna be watching this.
It's fun.
I'm talking to you, Joshua. I'm talking to you. Like, this is like a phone conversation, because I'm just talking to you. So get this. There's a guy, Bobby Sungo, I think his name is.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You did music.
Thirst Trap.
Yes, you were on. Let me tell you something. First of all, your voice. Then what you were saying, I was like, I got my whole life. Like, I got my whole life. And then it's not just that. I would see you in your geniusness rework, like Hocus Pocus and different songs. I Put a Spell on You, or just all of these different things, The Little Mermaid, like all these different things, because you're known for that. You take Disney and give it an ulterior, like an alternate universe situation. So You write such amazing things. I'm trying to remember the one where it was like, um, what was it? I fucked your man and now he's mine. Like hocus pocus. Like, and
Yes,
it's
yes.
yeah,
I
yeah. I
stole
think
your
it's
man from
yeah, I saw your
you.
man from
The
you.
Hocus gone,
Yes,
gone,
yes,
gone.
yes.
Yes,
But
yes.
I watch you do that so often, and the genius behind it, Joshua, you
You-
are.
Thank you. You know what I wanted with this show specifically with Queen the Ratchet is I wanted like that person that works at 9 to 5, that works at McDonald's or works at a business and they can't say
Yeah,
what they really want to say because if they do, they might get fired.
yeah,
I wanted them to come home and have that fucking release of laughter. I've always operated from a place that laughter soothes the soul because our real brain is in our stomach. And when you're really laughing really heavy, you're breathing, you're letting out all those toxins. And I really wanted that. And I really feel like, even though I don't think we ever grow up, the
right.
idea of like age and all that kind of stuff, we're all just a bunch of kids. And I don't know where this whole thing about bill, I'm still trying to figure out why we fucking paying bills on a rock. Like who decided if everything is abundant?
Yeah.
Who decided, you know what, we're gonna create bills and credit cards and debt? You know, they could literally push a button and everybody's debt would be reset.
I know.
They literally could do that.
Yeah.
But they don't want to.
They, like you
They
said.
don't want to. And I want to piggyback off what you said. I love that you said that you don't have to go and open a door
Yeah.
that was closed in the heterosexual community because there's so many opportunities over here. And just because, and I'm gonna say this to all of the people that are watching, just because your parents or your friends or anybody like that may think that you're a demon or bad or all that kind of stuff, you know who you are in your soul.
Yeah.
You might have a lot of trauma that you're going through. Hell, I've been through therapy. I've been through all that shit too. Once you figure out who you are, whatever the outside world brings your way, it's going to be like, like the Matrix. You're going to be dodging that shit. Oh, I'm not that bitch. No, I don't receive it.
But I love when you do that. I love when you go to the register. I love when you go into that register with your voice. It's like I tell Joshua, I live for you. That's why this conversation is just not.
It's a phone call.
Yeah,
it's a phone call. You know. And I really wanted to talk to you because there was a girl that I know, and she brought you up. I was on live, and she brought you up, and I was like, you know what? You had reached out to me before about doing this. I was like, I really want to come on and do this because I respect you so much, and I don't. That whole idea, I've never viewed the people that support me as fans or followers. I view y'all as family, like people that, like my spiritual family that I don't necessarily know, people that just follow me because they can relate, because I can relate to your content, and I really vibe with that. Being able to push Black LGBTQ people forward, LGBTQ people forward, geniuses forward. Like there's so much out here for everyone that everyone can win. Everyone deserves to win.
You always say that everyone deserves to win. You always say that.
And yeah.
Honestly, even when I was having hiccups in doing this, your content and what you were saying, it just would give me, and see, that's what people need to understand. Like none of us have just so much confidence in the world that we're impenetrable. Like we have days where we're like, oh. I was talking to my grandmother this morning and we were going to the Walmart Supercenter. And I told her, I said, one of these days, I want to do a full expose on the hardship that I had to incur, that we both had to incur getting this brand to where it is now. And because it was hard, it put a strain on our relationship. It was like, and literally the only way and I told her, I said, Nana, the only way you and I survived that, because we were doing business together, was that we loved each other more than anything. I'm my grandmother's firstborn grandson, her first. So there's just that speciality there. And she looked at me and she's like, you really want to put that? I said, because I want them to know how hard it is. And it's not necessarily how hard we make it. It's how hard our competition makes it. Oh, well, they want to go over here and do their own thing. So let's make sure that they never see the light of day. You actually have people that do that. And even furthermore, you have people that will sign you to a contract to shelve you, to get you out of the way. Okay, okay. I've been around Josh. I've been around Josh. I've had some things happen to me. So, and that's the thing, trying to be this person. And like you said, I had the 16 years of therapy. I got that, that saved my life and my career, because
Yeah.
the more like from before, being a child that, didn't have his mother, didn't have his father, there was that abandonment issue. So I was looking out in the world. I was constantly looking for somebody to acknowledge me, some person to validate me. And then once I started having therapy, it was like, no, go inside. Everything you need is inside. And I'll never forget when my therapist first said that. I said, this bitch is crazy. She trying to sell me these white ideals, and she don't understand that Black life is a whole lot harder and a whole lot more difficult than what she is saying. But one thing I realized was she was right. I started going inside. I started my psychiatrist, because I take medicine for mental illness. So my psychiatrist was like, every time I met with her, because I don't meet with her often, she would say, what are you doing for your career? What are you doing for your art? What are you doing for your music? And I want to say, of the first 8 years of having therapy, I wasn't doing anything with my talent because I couldn't financially fucking afford it. So I was sad about it, and I was talking about it in therapy, but she asked me every time I saw her, and she, what are you doing for your music? When am I going to hear music? What are you doing? And it annoyed me so much that when I would go to the facility, I would avoid her. I would avoid her because I didn't want her to ask me again what I was doing for my music. And I'm like, do you not see I'm fucked up right now? I can't do this right now. But she was right. That's exactly when it happened. Me being upset, I turned on the camera. And those early Queen of Shade videos were me being mad at the industry. That's where that visceral shade came from. I was subliminally cussing them the fuck out. Everything they stood for, everything they tried to take from me, every unnecessary thing that they added to my pot that I didn't need in my soup, and cussing them out about it. And then I started to meet people, producers. I met my producer during the Queen of Shade. I met her online. She was watching me and she was like, oh, you have a really nice voice. And I'm like, well, years ago, 2008, 2009, I used to do covers on YouTube, and she's like, really? I'm like, yeah. She's like, well, I actually found you. Look at this. I actually found you because one of the people that supported you back then put me on to you now. And I'm like, that's when it clicked for me. Everything we do, it's cumulative. We may not see our way out right now, but right now, you in this blue wig is going to set you up for an opportunity tomorrow, the next day. Like seriously, like it really does work that way. And then you're going to look back and be like, and I love it because I can hear your laughter in my head. I always do, because it is the laugh of someone who is organically, unapologetically free. And to hear, and like I said, I've watched, so I know where you're going as a shaman. I know, I can see where you're going. And it's like the work and the impact on the world is going, it's first of all, it's already been monumental. It's already been monumental because I'm not the only one watching you. Okay, I'm not the only one that knows Queen of the Ratchet. I stay in the comment section when people repost you and don't tag you. Okay, when they repost you and don't tag you, I read the comments and I try to tag, because it's like, and I'm like, y'all living for this. Y'all are living for this, and y'all gonna live for this for the rest of y'all lives, because y'all don't understand this. This is what feeds you. This is what feeds you. This is what feeds you. You literally, there has been so many times. I love when you would do the Disney villains, because my thing was
I still do.
You do. Yes, you do. Because in my career, I stopped trying to be the goody two shoes. I got it. I got my career and recognition when I decided, bitch, I'm gonna be an anti-hero. I'm going to be the villain. And an anti-hero, she'll help you. She'll give you what you need for you to get your life, but she want her check. She want her check. She's for herself. And I don't mind saying that, because I can't help someone else if I'm not for me first. If I wasn't getting fed from my own material, none of the people that watch you or me, same thing with you, none of the people that watch us would feel that release that they need. It speaks to you first and then translates to the world. And that's what people have to understand. You know, you get a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm an actor, I need a script. And it's like, no, baby, you have to have a personality too. You need a personality. You need that, because past this script, who are you? Who are you?
Who are you? I can give you lines all day, but if you don't know who you are, then you're just saying words on a page
that someone else wrote.
That someone else wrote. And it's like, I can't tell you who you are. Now, I can do a consultation and we can sit down and figure it out together. We can figure it out together, but I can't tell you who you are. And it's like, I've ran into that where people want me to tell them, and I'm like, your life is your choice. I don't know who the fuck you are. Yes, you tell me who the fuck you are. Like, bitch, I don't know. I'm just looking at you like Dr. Seuss. Who are you? Who are you, boo? I don't know. I know who I am, but I don't give a damn. Who are you? I mean, it's like, I just, it's a lot of like fear, and I operate from a place of like, fear is something that is created up here and it doesn't necessarily exist. It's the lies that we've been told time and time again. I love going back to what you said about the villain.
Yeah.
I have this interpretation that if everything was sunshine and lollipops, this world would be a very boring place. Ooh. And the villains that we so-called have in our lives made us who we are. And another thing I want to say that you said, the universe isn't against you. The universe is for you. Everything that has happened in your life up until now has already been written, and it's working for you. It's not working against you. And I had to learn that.
Me too.
I recently got out of therapy because I was like, I told my therapist, I said, you know what? I meet with you an hour a week. Mm-hmm. Pay you this money and I meet with you an hour a week. And she said, yeah. I said, the other hours throughout the week, I'm by myself having to figure it out. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I said, I don't know if I need you. I mean, I can read a book and listen to a podcast. Or I was like, when I didn't have therapy, I was doing Queen of the Ratchet because I wasn't booking. Like I had all this stuff. I was creating all this content. I was auditioning. And I also got to self-sabotaging mode. Yeah. I talk honestly about my experience, like where I was utilizing drugs as a coping mechanism and utilizing boyfriends and men as a way to cope and like have the world see me. And I was dealing with my own shit, my own trauma. And I was like, well, why isn't it happening for me? Who is the villain? These people are the villain. And I took a step back and I said, I'm the villain. I'm the person in my way. I'm the person. And I'm not hugging, like when I think about yin and yang, I'm not hugging that dark side of me. I'm not hugging that side. Yeah. So what I told my therapist was, I said, now I try to hug my light side and my dark side together, because the darkness is never going to go away. Nope. It's always going to be there, but it doesn't mean it's bad. It's just like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? You're a little upset today. What's the mood? Yeah. And then I listen and I'm like, oh, I'm hungry. Or I just feel like he hasn't called me back yet. And I'm like, well, bitch, go find another man to call. Like, it's like, we have to do that. And then there's this third person that's developing, and it's a gray area. Yeah. It's like a very gray area of a mixture of both of them. And it's and sometimes when I'm there, it's just peaceful because it's just accepting the fact it is what it is at that moment. Yeah, it's not that serious.
It's not that serious. Get this, being a Libra, I come from a
My
scientific
mother's a Libra.
So you know this already. I come from a very scientific world. I wanted to be a veterinarian. I wanted to practice medicine. That was my thing in college. People said then to me then, that was the year 2000. They were like, listen, you need to use your talents, use your, art, use those things, be a model, do all of those things. And I was, and this is so crazy because in that space, I was a very logical thinker. So, and also because of trauma, my mother and my father, like my father, he plays 95 instruments. He's very talented, but he just never could, the mental illness, and he just never could catch a break. And my thing is, and it wasn't because of necessarily outside forces, it was him self-sabotaging. So every time I used to, even when I saw him, he always wanted to put me on the spot, sing for us, sing for us. And I would do it because, I hadn't seen my father in a long time. He wasn't a regular staple in my life, but I got tired of that. So I said, my grandmother put me in this good suburban school, and it's college prep, and I'm gonna take my Black ass to school with all these people, and I'm gonna get my degree, and I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna do that. And then I got there, and the craziest thing was I started flourishing outside of the classroom. I became the choir director. I became, one of the dancers and one of the public speakers and for our choir. And I was doing all of that. And it wasn't that my grades were slipping. I was losing interest. And it's so crazy because if you're not careful, you will take someone else's suggestions for you and make them your own thing. Like I was told from as a little boy, oh, you should be a veterinarian. I liked animals. I've always loved animals, and I've always cared about them. But bitch, if I had did this 20 years ago, I could have built me an animal hospital somewhere in Chicago. You see, like, but I'm not mad about it because I've been saying, late bloomer, I was a late bloomer, but I got it together. But I started to realize, even with my father, all of them, the world is gray. It's not black and white. I used to think that way. Show me the situation, show me the evidence. That's what it is. It is what it is. And my therapist worked because at one point, even to this day, I only have female therapists because men are nasty. Men are nasty. Trust me. I have a boyfriend now for the first time. Men are nasty. Yeah. So I just, that feminine energy. So she taught me that, baby, the world is gray. The entire world. It's a sliding scale. And there are always ways. You say, well, this is this. And she says, well, that's that at 8 o'clock in the morning, but come back at 3. Is it the same thing? And I'm like, no. Why? Because they've broken for lunch and now they're getting ready for the dinner rush. It's not the same thing. And I'm like, and she would say things like that to me that would hit my logic so hard. I'm like, yeah, restaurants do serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and they have to prepare to do that. And she taught me how to live black, white, gray. She taught me how to do that. Literally, like you just said, I started hugging all of those areas.
Yes.
And then, like, I'm getting goosebumps right now because that's spirit's way of letting me know that they're listening. But it's in that space that this is what has been birthed. Honey, you say this a lot in your content, and I do too. No one can beat you being you. No one can beat you being you. What you do will be unique because you're the only one that can do it. Now, there may be other people that are inspired and they may do a version of what you do, but it will never be you. It'll never be, they'll never capture that true essence of what makes you you. And that's your superpower. Your superpower is, damn it, there may be funny people online, but they're not me being funny.
Right.
And then that's what, and so many people, we slide out of that space because we say, oh, well, nobody's paying attention, or, oh, it's not getting as much attention. Give it time. I know now. I've been in entertainment 20 years. This is my 20th year. Shit did not pop for me until 7 years ago. And that was on my terms. And I was crazy. Listen, we all saw it. I couldn't understand why the world loved it. I was mad at everybody. I took my grandmother's church hat, put on a pair of sunglasses because I was still a little insecure. So put on the sunglasses, the church hats, and read for Filth, honey. Just read everybody. Read their mother, read their mother's mother, read their father, read their uncle. Like I just was reading everybody. It just was spewing out of me. And the world, and what I realized was the world was eating it up because, like you said, I was saying the things that they wanted to say, that they wish they had the confidence to say. And then once I started to realize that, it actually helped me kind of lay to rest my own problems, my own inconsistencies in my life. I started to embrace me and say, bitch, just breathe, take a break. Like, you're okay.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like I stopped riding my own back. And that's the thing. People like this industry, and you know this industry, they want to use us until they can't use us anymore. And then they shelve us or they discard us and they find the youngest, the hottest, and the newest. And it's
Mhm.
like, no, sweetie, you don't get to do that to me because I'm a living, breathing human being. And this fire that is in me, honey, you'll never be able to clone it or put it out. I will have it until the day that I die. Like I said to my boyfriend, I'm like, when I turn 50, because I'm turning 40 in September 29th. When I turn 50, all my wigs are going to go white. Every different style.
Yes, Storm.
Yes, okay. And I am going to have every public appearance, every performance,
Ooh.
everything. They will in all different lengths, color, it'll all be white, but short, long, intermediate, curly.
Ponytail.
No, it will all be white because to me, that is the symbolism of, okay, bitch, I am half a century year old and I lived, like I got here. Okay. Like, I don't want to hear nothing. Like I've been playing Beyonce's Cozy because I'm like, bitch, like I am there as far as comfortable in my skin. I'm so comfortable. Like I never thought I would be coming from a very Pentecostal religious upbringing and church and different things like that. And it's so crazy because I'm not in Christianity today, but my pastor follows me. She hears all the stuff I say, everything, and she sends her support and her love because my pastor was a type of progressive woman when she realized everyone was not made for just the church. She realized
Yeah.
God made you for something bigger. You're going out there. And
Yeah.
she never held me back. Like she would always say that. She would tell my parents, watch who he's around. She would always say that, which is why I guard and protect my energy the way that I do now, because she would tell my parents, watch who he's around because he's special. He doesn't need a whole bunch of people around him. He needs to be in a space where he can hear himself. And they would always say that. And she would always prepare him. He's anointed. He's got a dunamis anointing. He's got this. He can do this. He can do that. He can do this. And it just, losing my parents to drugs in the 80s, there was a void. And all of my life, once I became an adult, I just slowly started pouring into my own void. And I've got it almost closed. And the thing is, like my grandmother said it to me the other day, she was like, the one thing that bothers you is that you're upset that you didn't do it all yourself. So you can't say, I did everything myself. And I realized, yeah, she was right. But at the same time, we all need a little help sometimes.
Amen.
And,
Yep.
we should welcome help, she asked me about that. She said, why do you fight that? I said, because Nana, in my life, anyone, especially when they were men, anyone that wanted to help me, they would hand me 5 and they were taking 10 out of my ass.
Oh, and that's the same thing here. It's like it's my thing was that they saw the money before I was still in the fun and they were trying to get the money.
Yeah.
I was just here having fun on the playground and it's like, okay, how can we make money off of this?
Yeah.
Which money is great, but it's also like I've been hurt a lot from wanting, especially heterosexual men, to see me in those spaces and just be friends with me. And then feeling like when we got close in those spaces, there was this sense of like, oh, I can't invite you here, or I can't put you in this certain type of environment because people might assume that I'm gay or something like that. And it hurt. It hurt my heart because there was this deep love that I felt for these people. And I was like, oh man, well, damn, I thought this person was this way. But I had to get over that for myself. I had to let that go because I controlled what I'm learning is all of my interpretations of the world
Mhm.
I control.
Yes.
Even like when someone says something to me, I can take offense to it, or I could just like let it just go and like, okay, that's what it was. Or I can say, man, that motherfucker's a bitch. I want to beat his ass. Which, I
Yes.
can play that narrative, but it might be that person just had a fucking bad day
Yeah.
and that's who it is. Or Karen that cut me off in traffic or at the grocery store. I might want to like yank her back,
Yeah.
but I have to do my discernment and be like, okay, cool. I'm not going to do that today. Maybe it was just an off day. Maybe I'm hungry. Maybe I just need to go rest for a second. But yeah, it is those times where you just want to, oh,
Yeah.
haha, you don't want it.
And you know what's so crazy? We had the same thing because for a long time, it took me a long time to get heterosexual friends, like males friends and female. It just was a really long time. And then I met people that just genuinely loved me. Like it started in high school. I had my first male friend in high school, and his name was Rich. We called him Richie, and he was Jamaican. So get that from the islands. You know how they feel about homosexuals.
Yeah.
They don't hide how they feel. But
Mhm.
I remember we were running track, and Rich was like, "Today you're going to my house," and I'm like, and the sad thing was, at my house, as religious as it was, nobody cared whether I was there or not. Nobody called me and said, "Where the hell are you?" But literally after school, I said, "All right." And we walked on these long train tracks because we lived out in the suburbs. So we walked these long train tracks to get to his house. And literally, he took me to his house. I met his mother, I met his stepfather, and then I became a staple in that house. I was always there. And he was the first best friend I ever had that was male. And he had no problem, because when I would stay over on the weekends, he had no problem pulling out the sofa bed, and literally we would sleep in the bed together. He did not care. Now, mind you, the rest of the guys are like, "Yo, he's gay. Be careful. He might try something on you." Da, 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 because I was going through a lot of hormonal shit in high school. I will not lie. But yeah, it was crazy, and not understanding yourself and being allowed to express that. It was hard. But yeah, he was the first one that would sleep in the bed with me, no matter. And I mean, Richie was like 6'2". I'm 5'11". And literally wake up in the morning, he'd push me out of bed, real boy interactions. And it then kind of shaped the type of men that I went after. I always wanted the type of men that I could play around with and be knuckleheads with. It shaped, because to me, he was the first man I ever really loved. He didn't know that. He'll know that now. But he was the first man, especially of color, that I loved, because he loved me for just me being me. He was the best friend my whole high school career. And I remember I made him mad because I'm thinking, I'm getting out of here. I'm running off to college. I'm going 7 hours in state still, but in Pennsylvania. I'm going across the state near Ohio and Pittsburgh and stuff. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm getting out of here." And he said to me, "Don't forget me. Don't forget me." And I was like, "I'm not gonna forget you. Like, I'll call you." And I didn't. I didn't. I was away for school 2 years, and I didn't. And when I came back, ooh, you talk about the wrath. The wrath. You forgot me. Like, I mean, that boy made me pay for that every day. Every day. Still was my friend, but made me pay for that every day, Joshua. And I just was like, and that's what allowed me to realize I'm not the problem. I'm not the problem. The problem. I have a friend now. He's a friend of the family, but he's like a cousin to me. He cuts my grandmother's hair. It's been a while since we've seen each other because of COVID. But he was you talking heterosexual, MC, rapper, all of that, performer, traveling, and he was like, I never forget. He heard my music for the first time. I had it in my phone, and he was like, "Oh, well, cue it up on the speaker," because every barbershop got them Bluetooth speakers now.
Yeah.
He's like, "Cue it up." Now, the men in there were from my gym, so they were already like looking at me like, "Oh God." So he was the first one that Black Stilettos came on. And he was like, oh, I could see you in them boots with that lingerie on. And I'm looking like, what? Like this is a straight man. And we were friends. We've been friends ever since. Every time I do an album, every time I do a song, I run it past him first. Get this, he saved me from a lawsuit because I live in this bubble. So, and everything I create is organic and mine. So I don't really have time to go back through history and figure out if a producer sampled or did something like that. I'm trusting that producer. Now, see, my producer I can trust. She's amazing. But I was working with a new producer. I heard something that he did and I said, I'd like a beat from you. I heard this beat and I'm already writing to it. I want this beat. So I purchased the beat, and like I said, it saved me because I was in his barbershop and he's cutting hair. And he was like, well, let me hear what you're working on. And I played it and he was like, that's from a movie. And I'm like, no, this is an original beat. He's like, no, that's from a very famous movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme from the 80s. And I'm like, what? So he put the movie, he Googled, like, on the smartphone. He found the movie, played the song. I was like, oh my God. Like I was literally about to go out there and sing to this song, not knowing. And it would have ended my career. They'd have sued me for everything I had.
Yeah.
I went back, you should have seen me. I went back to that producer. I cussed him the fuck out. He gave me my money back. And see, that's the thing. See, once you become who you are and you got clout, he didn't want to have a bad relationship with me. So he gave me my money back. But the only reason he gave me my money back was because I'm a Queen Shade now. I was like, bitch, you trying to fuck up my shit? Like out there, I got real, yeah. I got real gully with him. I'm like, you said, he's like, I told you it was a sample. I'm like, no, the fuck you didn't. Like I was going off. Give me my money, and I bought 2 beats. I refunded them both. I was like, I can't trust you. Like, no. And it was so crazy, but like, I now know what it's like to have heterosexual friends. Was the point? And yeah, and it's so funny because they look at me and they see me because I don't go out like this. I don't. This is, you pay for this.
Okay, RuPaul.
Right? Yeah, I don't show up like this. Like I don't show up like you paying for this now, and then there's tiers to the payment. Besides the luxury tax, it's like, okay, is this bitch speaking or is she singing? Because there's a difference in the price quote. Okay.
Yes, Madison.
Hey, okay, we gonna talk because I built this bitch, So it's funny because they always say to me, like, you need to come out like that. You need to do this. I'm like, no, because I already need security. So I'm just not. I'm a pretty girl. I'm a boy, but I'm a pretty girl, and I don't want nobody to try me because I don't even want and it's so crazy. But I said all of that to say that this world really fears people that are authentically themselves. When you say, fuck the bullshit, I'm going to be exactly who I believe that I am, they get scared. They get absolutely terrified because it's in those moments that greatness and brilliance are born. After all, what do you think happened with them? This industry had to start somewhere. They had to be pioneers as well. So my thing is, I look at them like, okay, you were a pioneer of that. I don't want that. So now I'm going to create my own and be a pioneer of this.
Amen. Yeah.
Yeah, they
There
you go.
Listen, and I've had my experiences with heterosexual men where I fell in love with them, and I think it was more so like the masculine, protective energy. And I look back and I'm like, I don't think I was physically attracted to them. It was just that masculine, divine energy where I was like, oh man, I just feel so warm.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel a different way. And I would fall in love and I'm like, damn. And there have been instances where I'm like, oh my God, I'm starting to feel something for this person, but I can't really say it because they're my heterosexual friend. Yeah. Or I'm the same, I wish I had that. I wish I was able to sleep in the bed with a heterosexual or even a gay friend. Like I've experienced that like once or twice, but that's so needed.
It is.
To be able to cuddle up with men and have that vulnerability, because there's this outer shell that's just so hard and rigid and it's not healthy. It's not healthy. It causes toxic masculinity. It causes you to have so much toxins in your body.
Yeah.
And being able to like, it's not even a gay thing. It's just like you're sharing an intimate moment
Yeah.
with a brother or someone that you love. And sexuality is such a spectrum. So to me, if you fuck a man, it doesn't mean that, oh my God, you only fuck men. It's
Right.
such a spectrum. Love is love. Like
Yeah.
you might just love a certain man, but you might not consider yourself to be whatever gay is or straight is or anything like that. You just might be in love with that individual, and that's okay.
They don't believe that. And that's so true. I've had men be heterosexual and be like, I love you, just you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not ready to go out there and live this lifestyle and do this, that, and the other, because this lifestyle is difficult when you don't have the support that you need. I mean, for a heterosexual man, they lose everything. They lose everyone
Yeah.
they've known. And, you know, to ask someone to, you know, because of something he enjoys to do sexually, to ask him to forfeit his entire life. Like, I would never do that.
But the thing is like if someone stops hanging around with you just because you are sleeping with a man, that life that you thought you had was an illusion.
Yeah.
It was fake. It was never, they never were really there for you. They were only there for who they thought you were, but that's not necessarily you. That's an image that they created on you. So I would encourage anybody that's trapped in the closet, which is no reason to be anymore because baby, we are free and living our lives out here with our wigs, honey. But I just feel like just live. Like it's so like you don't want to get to where you're on your deathbed and you wish you would have lived, you would have kissed that same sex individual, you would have taken that chance.
Yeah.
And sometimes you only get that one opportunity, so just do it. Like it's scary. It's not even scary, it's the scary that you think it is, but do it.
You know, it's so crazy because they've even found a way to quantify loving their best friends that are the same sex. They call it now a bromance. You know, they like, you know, like now you're, because get this, now you're admitting that you can have feelings for a man more than what you would just a regular friend. And now
Yeah.
it's a bromance, but no homo, no homo. It's a bromance. Hello, the root of
Like
that
no
is
homo
romance.
solves anything.
Right, but the root of bromance is romance. They just changed the beginning. It's romance. You're having a romance with your bro. Like that's what it means. Like
The thing is like a lot of y'all did a lot of circle jerking when y'all and now y'all straight with wives. So
I wish I had been involved.
I wish I would have been. I'm like, bitch, this was going on. Where was I?
Right.
Where was I? Let me help. You know what? It wasn't for me to be there because I would have been sleeping with all of the football players, all the basketball players, and I would have dared them to say something because they messed up all over high school. Oh, you called me the F word, bitch. I got you. Remember we were at the circle jerk party last weekend? The girl will be like, what's a circle jerk party? Oh, girl, let me tell you what he been doing.
that happened to me in college. Like, I always
circle jerks happened to you in college.
No. No, the attraction and the requited attraction to the football players, to the athletic, you know, guys and things like
yeah.
that. You know, I had my share, but you know, I would never let them touch me. I would never let them touch me. I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready. And the funny thing is, when I was ready, it was the summer. The guy that I had actually been talking to for over a year, he was on the campus. It just couldn't have been him. He cared too much about what people thought. He cared about his football image. And so he wasn't my first. I actually took a grad student from Ohio. They drove all the way down to where I was. And it was an amazing experience. The first time was an amazing experience. Amazing. And I don't regret it. And I still remember that guy's name and everything. And I reached out to him a couple of years ago. He's like, I can't even remember you. You know who I am. And I'm like, yeah, it was my first. You know, but like, people don't realize that when you hate of any kind, when you ostracize of any kind, when you segregate of any kind, you miss out on the beauty that is that individual. You miss and get it. A lot of men, I'm just gonna say this, a lot of men get mad because they are actually attracted to you. They are
Yeah.
actually attracted to you. And I'm not one of those people that believes every man is gay, but I also believe that attraction and love know no gender. They know
Nope.
no gender.
They were fucking back in the day in Greece. So at the end of the day, it's okay. They pulling up Queen of Shade and being like in their bedroom.
Oh! You're the first person to ever say that out loud.
I hate this, but I love it at the same time.
You're the person to ever. I've always known that, but you just said it out loud.
Child, they the ones in your comment section that's hating and everything at the same time. They down touching. Yeah, the world we live in, honey. That's why anytime somebody has a time, this is the thing. If you have the time to put some hate under anybody's post,
You really
you
invest.
got some serious. I have to feel bad for you because I'm like, dang, that takes a lot of energy for you to really put that much energy to put something hateful in somebody's post.
And then my thing is, and I say the same thing because I'm like, my thing is, you spent all that time and all that energy, and it's going to be deleted like it was never there.
Right, block.
You spent all that because you act like people don't understand that love and hate are so close. They're
so close, so close. And the thing is love can be a dangerous thing.
So can hate, yeah.
So can hate. They're both there, and it's like sometimes you think you might love an individual, and it might be lust.
Yeah.
So always operate from a place of kindness, respect, and try to come from unconditional love.
Yeah. And that was the crazy thing too, because I've always, even outside of this, I've always attracted our men. Our men want to talk to me. Our men want to be around me. I'm such an uplifter of our men. I believe our men. I believe, like I said recently, I said, if they can fetishize us, we can fetishize ourselves. So it has always been that, and I will always be pro-Black. I will always be pro-Black. I do. I have friends from all around the world, but I will always be pro-Black. I will always be. I said to my audience the other day, I was like, when I was growing up in the suburbs, I felt as though, oh, I need to be seen with a certain group of people because it makes me more educated. It makes me more astute. It makes me better. But then I realized, no, a Black man created the Queen of Shade. A Black man put this on the map. And then I talked about my music. I'm like, that music that has been heard in 56 countries where these people think that she's the next pop princess, white pop princess, don't realize she's a 40-year-old Black man. And I said that because it was like, look at the power. Look at what we can do. Look at what we have. And that's the same thing I'm circling around to you because that's what you've done with all of these series. I've seen you work with amazing actors. And when they're saying things, I'm like, he wrote that. That's what me and my grandmother sit back and say. We're like, those are his words. That's what's coming out of Nzinga's mouth. He wrote that. That's him. Like literally putting himself out into the world. Like I was saying in the beginning when I got all excited, she reminded me today and she was like, I will never forget the way his niece told him that she had to cross the street by herself and that he needed to stay outside while she went upstairs and got herself a snack because he needed to think about what he had done to her. And I was just like, the Uncle series, and I was just like, and I love that too, because you can see that the talent is in your family. They are just talented. The nephew and the niece, they are talented, and you're grooming them. You're grooming them. You're paying it forward. It's just, you are such a beautiful person. You are such a beautiful person, and you do so much amazing, great work. I want you to tell us about the characters that you are creating. I believe one's name is Elsa. Is it
Ella?
Ella. That's what it was. Ella. And who's the other one? Ella and...
There's a couple. Dusa.
There it is.
Yeah.
Tell us about the series.
Yeah. So for a really long time, I was doing the Disney villains.
Yes.
And I was like, well, we're kind of like sitting in this box, is comfortable. You know how you get in that comfort zone. Okay, this is working, but like now it's time to excel this
Yeah.
and get it to a higher level, like how The Simpsons and Family Guy was.
Yeah.
And I was talking to myself, I was like, well, you can't really do this with Disney because Disney is their own thing. And yes, you started here, but now it's time to grow it to something else. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm creating a multiverse called Queen of the Ratchet, the cartoon series. And it's all about infinite being named Josiah the Infinite, who is a non binary being. And basically, it's about consciousness, self love, and self discovery, about aligning themselves to their reality and trying to save fairy tale land and the regular world that we live in. So Ella is basically the president of fairy tale land. She's all of the fairy tale characters are based off of a prominent person in hip hop or the music industry that's Black in the civil rights movement. So Ella is based off of Billie Holiday and the rapper E from the 90s.
Wow.
Deuce based off of Lil Kim and Josephine Baker. We Maine, who is based off of like reptilians, which is like something that they think white people are, a reptilian. And then we have Ursula, who's based off of a prominent singer back in the civil rights movement, Ma Rainey,
Yes.
and Lizzo, not Lizzo, no, Missy Elliott.
Yeah.
And then we have the Evil Queen, who is based off of Nicki Minaj and Coretta Scott King.
Yes.
So characters are kind of influenced with both because the idea that time never dies and like we're all living at the same time and everything. And so the infinite being is basically having to merge everything together to save the universe, to save reality. And so when I talk to my team, it's something where I'm really trying to create like a LGBTQ
Yeah.
superhero,
Yeah.
like that's capable of doing things that you've seen these other superheroes do, like Batman or even the X-Men and everything, and having superpowers. Because when I do leave,
Yeah.
or when like, you know, I want something left where people, not just LGBTQ, can look at, where they can look at and say, I can do that too. I can self-love myself and I can create the universe
Yeah.
that I want to see. I can fly. I can be that being. I can step out into this world that, you know, there is a lot going on, but I can choose to do what I want to do in this lifetime. I can save the day.
Wow. I'm going to share something with you because I want to prove a point here. I want people to understand how powerful what you just said is. The fact that you're using great iconic people. Eve is from my city. I love her. Just everyone you listed. I went to Paris because of Josephine Baker. I'm going back because of Josephine Baker and Coretta Scott King. All these people. But I want you to realize something. They see and they watch us. They know us. Marvel Comics is owned by Walt Disney.
Wow.
I want to say back in 2017, no, 2018, maybe 2018, 2019, Marvel Comics decided to do their first transgender or drag performance superhero. Her name was Shade, and they stole my likeness. She had fans, and at that time I was using fans in my performances. They tried to steal my name and my likeness. I got with my lawyer, Marcus DeBudio, because this is a real thing. I can share this. His name is Marcus DeBudio, out of Fresno, California, entertainment lawyer. And we had to issue them a cease and desist letter. Now, usually, what Marcus explained to me was, they can bury you in litigation for the next 30 years, fighting for the right to something that is yours. But I was fortunate. And I say fortunate is because God created me. So we got the reply from them. When Nene Leakes tried to steal my trademark and we shut her down, she didn't even reply. But Walt Disney replied to me and said, we're so sorry. It's a letter that they sent. We're so sorry we weren't aware. Now we are. We're going to change the likeness of this character. Her name will now be Dark Veil. And they said, we don't want any problems because we were going to sue them. And my lawyer looked at me and he said, listen, you may not have gotten millions of dollars from this incident. He said, but your millions are coming because if someone like Walt Disney and Marvel sees you, the world knows your value. But yeah, we stopped them. We stopped them from stealing from me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was something. We sent them the pictures. I mean, the wig, they had the wig, everything. I had a green wig on, they put her in a green wig, everything. And we were like, my lawyer was like, oh, no, 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 no. And they backed off. And he told me, he said, your millions are coming. Keep doing what you're doing, Queen of Shade. You'll make it. You'll make it. Yeah. Yeah. They tried. Yeah. Nene was the other one. And she was trying to go on tour, Queen of Shade tour, and she had to change it to Shit Talkers because we knocked on her door. Hey, you have all these gay men around you. You use gay lingo, but you don't know who the Queen of Shade is. And I have a huge following in Atlanta. You don't know
Right.
me? You don't know me, girl?
Right.
You don't know me, girl? You sure? You sure you don't know me, girl? But she backed off of it too. So yeah, it's a journey. It's a journey to be who we are, but we have the right to be who we are. We are
Amen.
well within our rights, especially when we create something well within our rights. So, okay, I have talked your ear off like a freaking fan for over an hour.
I've enjoyed.
I have too. It was so good. This was so good. I'm so
It was like a
about
phone call with the sis, honey.
I
This time me and
know.
my sister get together. We're just like, yeah, just flatting off, gossiping, going right, left. I
Right?
love it.
I loved it too. It was so great. It was so neat. We said so many things. Well, in the invitation, I sent my phone number, so you have my exact number. So no worries there. But tell everyone 3 words that inspire and empower you as a person. It can be more.
Trying to do 3.
It could be more if you need it to be.
Dream the impossible dream.
Yeah. 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 You know what's so crazy? That is so poetic because you and I sitting here together, we are the impossible dream.
Now I'm about to cry.
Oh, don't cry, but it's true. We are. We are the impossible.
Oh my gosh. I received that so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
That hit me.
Yeah. We're the impossible dream. We're the impossible dream. Do you know how many people died so that we could sit here?
Whew.
That's why I do what I do. And I know that's why you do what you do. Special. You're special. And you are going to see a whole lot of success that people never thought would ever come your way. You will have the last laugh. Mm-hmm. You will. Tell everyone where they can find you online because you got a lot of pages.
Well,
I'm looking. I'm like,
girl, just put me everywhere. I think that maybe I'll just say this. Follow me on these 2 platforms. Joshua Gilyard, JOSHUAGILYARD. You can look me up on all social media platforms that way. And the most prominent one I think that everyone is geared to is Queen of the Ratchet. If you just need a laugh, you need just that time to just release. I post all of the other content on there as well, Gunkle, Side by Side, all that. So yeah, I look forward to talking to new people that follow. And I have the same thing to say to you. You are the next, like Oprah. You are the next, big talk show, podcast host out there, and not just for the LGBTQ community, for every entity in this world. Because like you said, there's so many geniuses that in this world and they need to be interviewed. So thank you for your platform and sharing this moment with me. This is a moment in history, and we're going to look back on this and be like, remember when we were kikiing, girl?
Yeah.
Look at
that. Yeah, don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the vocal stylings of a genius, Mr. Joshua Gilyard. Now you got to do your famous saying, and you got to do it all the way so I can end this video.
Yes.
So go. So did you enjoy? I hope you did. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and don't forget to cash at me at the Queen of Shade. I am your favorite content creator, right? Right. You want to see more of this content, right? Right. Cash at me. I love you. Mwah.
I've got my black stilettos on. Don't you make me take them off. I'm assuming first position. Wanna show you I'm a boss. I've been given 60 seconds just to